I think most of us have heard the statistics that something like 80% of the New Year's resolutions that we make don't last past the first few weeks of January. I've always been fascinated by New Year's resolutions because they're so interesting. I mean, resolutions at their best can be a recognition that we want to change, that we plan to change. But at their worst, they can also be a way of using the future to excuse the present. We make resolutions for everything. We resolve that we want to weigh less, that we want to have better relationships, that we want to have self-improvement, we want to be more educated, we want to be more kind, less angry. And then we don't do it. We don't follow up on it. I mean, it's these momentous, life-altering things that we know we want to do, that we need to do. And then when push comes to shove, we find we can't. Until next December, when we wind up back in the self-help section of the bookstore, or once again on Google looking up new diet plans, only to do the whole thing over again. There's a unique letter in the New Testament. It's the book of James. It's written to a church by one of the first Christian leaders, and it's unlike any other book in the New Testament, really unlike any other book in the ancient world. It's incredibly practical, so much so that James actually got into some trouble later on in Christianity. Some really well-known Christian leaders didn't like the book of James because it was so practical. Martin Luther called it a letter of straw because he thought that it was going against the grace that Jesus talked about so much. But James knows what most of us know this time of year. James is trying to tell us that our actions have consequences. Nobody ever looks at that second slice of cheesecake and thinks, I should have that. God's grace will cover that. It's not that God's mad at you if you have that extra slice of pizza. It's that eventually what you do today is going to start to show tomorrow. James knows that life is cumulative, and what seems like a sacrifice today actually might be a gift tomorrow. This is what the book of James is trying to say, what it's trying to do. It's trying to get us to realize we are becoming the kinds of people we are training to be. And we can neglect our life with God and with each other, but it will start to show. We'll find ourselves becoming more irritated with each other. We'll find ourselves losing our temper, or maybe hoarding our resources, or becoming less and less generous with each other. But James knows something that we don't. James knows that sometimes grace looks like discipline. Sometimes wisdom means sacrifice. Sometimes faith means work. And whether we know it or not, that's what every one of us is after. Because what we all want is the good life. And James, the earliest Christians, knew that there will come a day in everyone's life. Maybe it's when the papers get filed, or when the doctor comes back and says the report doesn't look good. And all of a sudden, the kind of person that we've been training to be is going to show. Suddenly, all those days of sacrifice and discipline are not burdens, they're grace. That's what James wants us to know, that I think many of us have forgotten. But we've got to learn again if we really want life to change. Because the way of Jesus is grace. It's the best possible way to live, and the book of James can teach us how to do it. It can actually give us, for those hard moments in life, a faith that works out. So join us the next few weeks at Highland for our services at 8:30 and 11 as we go through the book of James for the next couple of months, as we talk about what faith in Jesus looks like, as we talk about a faith that works out.